how I can relate to that. Something I've talked about before was that I was a competitive swimmer for about 6-ish years. Leading up to the end of my freshman year of high school, I was dropping off. My performance was plateauing. Everything about swimming gave me anxiety, or like none of my friends in the team were experiencing what I was experiencing. They were all excelling. I was doing what my coach was telling me, and all he kept doing was making it harder and harder and harder, and then pretty soon I just stopped wanting to go, and I did. But at the same time, I really felt like I was disappointing everyone. I felt I was being supported, my mom was there, my coach was a good coach, but at the same time, I was kind of naturally trying to protect myself by setting boundaries and saying I'm gonna take a break, and then my coach would just come right back and say what are you doing? Let's not. How about you don't do that? And it just made it worse. And I guess that kind of leads me to my first article by the Washington Post. They talk about how motivation is the key to understanding and fighting burnout. Didn't have the right type of motivation at the time. My motivation at the time was to keep my coach and my mom happy. I didn't want them to be disappointed with me. I didn't want to seem like I was wasting anyone's time, but at the same time, I wasn't happy. I was distancing myself from my teammates that I was with for years. I was not showing up for practices, not showing up for meets, and it was because I just didn't have any intrinsic motivation within the sport still. Something that's connected to that article, something that I found that was published in the Journal of Clinical Sports Psychology, was that the basic psychological need of autonomy is the variable link between passion and burnout. Basically, I did not feel like I was in control of my future situation. I didn't feel like I was in control of my current situation, and I didn't know what to do because I was miserable, I was exhausted, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to disappoint anyone, but I was disappointing myself at the same time. And something that I wish that I knew about were the 3 main ways of testing, which is another one of my source articles. They're all surveys. I still think that they're very valuable tools that we should be utilizing more with our athletes, even at the lower levels, because after I dropped out of swimming, I didn't drop into anything else. I stopped working out. Our PA project was the most I've done in a really long time. I have no excuse. So the 3 main ways of testing being the Maslow Burnout Inventory General Survey, the E80's Athlete Burnout Inventory, and then the Athlete Burnout Questionnaire. Tools that we should be utilizing to make sure that other people aren't also being burnt out, because it really sucked and it hurt, and I wish I didn't have to go through it. I wish I was still swimming. I do, but I'm scared. Yeah.